Somebody need you, Lord, come by here. Somebody need you, Lord, come by here. Somebody need you, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Yeah, somebody sure need you, boy. Because what Canada doing to us bright and early this morning, boy, something else. Mm-hmm. They shutting everything down. I believe in God the Father Almighty,
heaven and earth, in Jesus Christ, His own Son, our Lord, conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead and buried. The third day He arose from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and seated on the right hand of God, Father Almighty. From thence He shall come to judge the quick and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the church universal, the communion of saints, forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting.
We're going to Father, we thank you for allowing us to once again to study the word. Father, just let everything be done decent and in order. For let me for your glory, your word alone. Saying that through Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Woo, sometimes, y'all. Now you see Pastor White. Well, I volunteered for somebody else to take over. You know, and I caught you the thing on the way you woman in this ride. You holler about sometimes you can have too many jobs than somebody else. You know, Sister Linda, every time I try to get one up, I got three back. You know, so I just say it is what it is. You know, and I don't even get down there complaining no more. So I won't do no good. Because, you know, some jobs, somebody don't want all the time, you know? So if you know nobody, you know, nobody ain't going to take your job. They don't sit crying about it, you know? But it's all good. Yeah, it's kind of like old hat. Yeah, October I'm on it. I'll check again to see if the books.
It should be on.
Well, they probably been mailed, but depending on.
Yeah, they probably, because I know my lawyer said last night, said they had just got there.
Well, I checked twice Friday.
Yeah.
You know, and then we got stuff with all the rain going on the kids and stuff, so I go check them. And I go check again and stuff, you know, because Mona had talked to somebody and they said they had theirs as well, you know, but
they don't
mean nothing, boy. I said that, and all I can say is thank God for a commentary.
Yeah.
Ooh. Years ago, Pastor, I decided that's one thing Sister Lula Wilson taught. She said, get a commentary, son. So get a commentary so that way you can have something to work with, you know. She said, cause see, sometimes the books supposed to come in, but sometimes the books may not come in and stuff. And then you stuck like Chuck and stuff. But then everybody, most of them, you know, my wife worked, you know, they're saying supposed to be boycotting Kindle and everything. They say you ain't supposed to be messing with none of it. Kindle, all of Amazon, from the 7th through the 14th. I told my wife, I said, we may save a little money.
But the problem with that is everybody that's in school, we don't kill them.
You ain't gotta tell me. Oh. Look, you sometimes. I told somebody was talking with me, and they said, well, you know, everybody need to boycott. I said, yeah, boycott all you want stuff, but remember, you got to eat, and you need food. Then you eat to have some food, you know, but you can't let common sense override what it is you're doing. Right. You know? See, now if you can afford to, you know, do it. But if you can't, you know, great lesson, y'all. Sometimes I kind of look at some of these lessons. I kind of look at it with like God, you know. You know, sometimes when you think you got it right and stuff, boy, everything come out wrong sometimes. And then you think you got it wrong, boy, it turns out right.
Turns out right.
Yeah, but good lesson and stuff. I'm sure a space for God. Background scripture, Exodus 20, Exodus 25 through 27. Although I kept looking for 27, I ain't seen it yet. So I figured they put it out there. So we just gonna say Exodus 25 through 26, and we'll leave it right there. Key verse was they have them make the sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Exodus 25:8. You know, the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to bring me an offering. You are to receive offerings from me, from everyone whose heart prompted them to give." Thought about you right there, Pastor. When I read that. These are the offerings you will receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skin, dyed red, and another type of durable leather, acacia wood, olive oil for the lights, spices for the anointing oil, and for the fragrant incense, and onyx stones and other stones to be binded on the ephod, and the breastplate, high priest. Then have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them and make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I have shown you. Boy, look here, I ain't realized how much, when you done read something before something, then all of a sudden you start reading it and actually reading it for the first time and stuff. How did I miss that? And that's the thing about reading the Word of God. You always, every time you read it, I'll be something fresh and new, that you ought to be able to say, well, I'm sure glad I read this thing right this time. I actually got it. And it's a funny thing too, because, just looking at stuff how God operates. And it's a good thing God don't operate like us.
Right.
So boy, we trying to mess it up, and boy, and I tell you what, I look at them stuff, and I'm kind of glad of one thing. I wasn't one of them chosen people, boy, during that time. Cause boy, look here. As many times that they got it right, then got it wrong, then got it wrong, and then tried to get it right, and got it, boy, look here. And they say you can see what it says. After banishing humans from the garden of Eden, God himself walked. He set in motion a plan to restore the relationship that had been broken. God rescued Israel from the Egyptians, a major step in his plan. 2 months later, God initiated a covenant agreement with Israel. Exodus 19. The Sinai covenant was given for God's people to be able to live with the divine presence in their midst. Their breaking of the covenant did not take long. Exodus 32, 7-8. Even so, God continued his faithfulness as he brought the Israelites to the land of inheritance and the land of promise. The contents of today's lesson: Moses living more than 500 years after Abraham, goes up to Mount Sinai and enter the cloud of God. Exodus 24:15-18. And during this 40-day encounter, God gave instruction for a tabernacle, for the idols to fill it, and for the ministry of the priests. God desired to grant access to his holy presence, but that requirement, a systematic approach to prevent everything profane, not just sin, but also things ritually unclean from entering into the tabernacle. It's amazing how God put his hand on something. He put totally on something. And the old folks used to have a saying, when God put his hand on you, boy, you can do whatever you want. It's hard to run, it's hard to fake it. And one thing I ain't lived up to yet, guys. Even though I love the word and stuff, everybody was talking about, what's up, preacher? I said, God had never told me he wanted me to be a preacher. I say, that's why God had all the different gifts, Some people teachers, some people, prophets, and guess what? Well, God ain't told me not one time in my life that he wanted me to be a preacher. So guess what? Let me do what I do best. I don't mind teaching, I don't mind helping, but hey, I want to be nobody preacher. And the Port of Fidel, like I told your predecessors out before you, I wouldn't have your job. And have to deal with the people sometimes you have to deal with this stuff, because the Israelites were known to stiff-necked people, There's a lot of them, hey, in fact, it's quite a few right in this church right there and stuff. They're so stiff-necked, don't know how to get up in the morning and stuff, But, reading this stuff is kind of good and stuff, Idols for construction. Think about Moses. We ain't gonna talk about Moses. I'll talk about Moses enough and stuff. I just say, Moses was Moses. went through a lot of stuff, but he did do what God asked him to do and stuff, you know. Even though he hollered about, I got a speech impediment, I don't like talking in public. He said, you got a brother, you got a sister, use them. Let them be your mouthpiece. But when in the end and stuff, what God done chose for you to do, you end up doing whether you want to or not. And that's a good part.
And watch this, I tell people, be careful of the excuses you make. Because when you look at it, Moses said he could, speak eloquently. So the Lord said, okay, I give you your brother Aaron. Right. But watch this. I'll be your Lord, I'll be your God, and you'll be his. Mm-hmm. So everything that he do is gonna fall on you. See? And watch this. Aaron called Moses a lot of grief. Aaron's son called Moses a lot of grief. Aaron and Moses' sister. So sometimes when the Lord tell you to do stuff, you need to go.
At least make the attempt. And some people, my parents always say and stuff. My grandparents, well, at least put forth the effort. Mm-hmm. Put forth the effort to try to do those things pleasing in the sight of God and stuff. And the thing about it is, if you had to pick the job that you want to do, it'd be a lot of miserable people like the other day. Because I used to put that telling us. One thing I told the students all the time, I said, I'm going to give y'all a little word of advice so y'all can take it now, y'all can take it later. He said, what's that, Mr. Fidel? I said, 90%, 5% of the people in the world doing a job and anything but what they went to school for. Mm-hmm. They looked at me, they said, I said, the chances of you doing what you went to school for? No. You may be, if you lucky enough to be in that little 5%, you consider yourself lucky because most people do anything but what they went to school for. And I've had friends and stuff, everybody used to have a zeal, Pastor. I had it all planned. I was going, do this, do that, go to law school, and then somewhere along the line, interest changed. By the time I got out of undergraduate work and stuff, and I was at Florida State, and they were just starting Florida State law school. They got all the FAMU books and that done, transferring over. And I was in first class, Skip Hunter, all of them were there. I could have been in that class, but I decided, look, I'll do some writing. So I'm gonna get in the degree seeking program, so I can write me a master's thesis and stuff, because I say it's another venture for me. I want to learn how to write and stuff. And took plenty of classes with them, to school with them and stuff. And Lord help, I say all the time, Lord help the folks out there who using these people as lawyers. So good Lord. Good Lord. See, nobody knew about that first set. I used to laugh at people all the time and stuff. We got Al Lawson, the director of the Black student union. And when he came on the stuff, he hollered about, I ain't gonna let you blankety blank get me kicked out of school and stuff. So he resigned, he quit, See, now I know people who they are, So I look at Senator Lawson and all that now, but see, I remember when he was, when you left the Black student union hanging and stuff. I went to school with his baby brother, we played ball together and everything, But then, it's not your purview to judge people, but you acknowledge them, and see when they're about how, what's so and then you kind of like, and then you ain't got nothing to say, you went to school with them, I'll leave it right there, because I ain't gonna try to taint somebody else. What you think about. See, you might have had, you didn't have to deal with the beginning of this person, you might have dealt with him in the middle or towards the end, See, I had the privilege of dealing with him in the beginning, Before anything was anything, he was like, all right, And so I look at all of them and stuff, I went to school with Randolph sister, she was over president of Black Student Union. Her sister, older sister, and the brother-in-law came from family and told me, you gotta quit. You ain't finna, So, I look at people like that. I still respect them, but I look at you kind of cross-eyed, Pastor. You got your one free time. You ain't gonna get no more, And now, ask me if I trust to follow behind them afterwards, you know. You know, you have a good one. You know, and sometimes, and that's how, you know, when you're dealing with people and stuff, you know, God gonna always show you the way, but everything don't all be received and stuff. Now, most people sit down and they read the word and stuff and they forget about stuff. And that's what I find out about people when they get slight when it comes to God. Because you don't get the complete picture, you don't retain that. Everybody remember the going out, the Exodus out of Egypt. But everybody always wondered, never dawned on them, why God told them all to take some with them. Why all of them took all that treasure of Egypt with them, all that gold and all that silk and all that other stuff, you know. Because even though they didn't know it then, God had a need for it.
He was going to use it.
Yes, he'd already planned, look. And you figure 500,000 men went out, not counting all the women and children. Some told the prophet about a couple, 2 or 3 million, all left. And everybody took some. Woo!
It was to the point that the Lord said, you're going to plunder the Egyptians, they're going to give you well just to make you
just to get you out of Dodge.
And what I tell people, what they don't realize is when the Lord says gold and silver is mine, praise the Lord. Yeah, when you look at this, I tell people you have to realize Moses is on the mountain. Him and the Lord is having this conversation. The Lord is telling him what all he needs the people to do. The people are down there finna use the gold to build
up. Oh yeah, go golden calf.
Watch it. The gold that wasn't there.
Yeah.
The gold that they didn't serve. The gold that they didn't earn.
Well, look here, I hate to tell you. Sister Linda Close here. Boy, that sound like New Bethel all over, boy. Some wanna use what you didn't earn, you know, cause it's there, you know, no consideration about you may need it somewhere else, you know, along the line or down the line, you know, but that's human nature for yourself. And the thing about it is, even though God made all of us and he made all of us perfect in his image and stuff, somewhere along the line, boy, people decide, you know, maybe I can do it. I made that mistake with my father. I was about 17. I said, well, Daddy, you know, I think I can take care of me about as good as you can. My daddy looked at me and said, all right, go for it. By age 21, 22, I went back home. I got to school. I said, hey, Pop, can I rent the room? Nope. I rented the room out and broke the plate. Ain't got nowhere for you. So from 17 on, Pastor, I was out there having to take care of Frankie because Frankie had opened his mouth. And he could do it on his own, you know. And I told my daughters and sons, I said, look, don't matter how mad you get with your mama and stuff, don't never be foolish like I was, you know. I said, because you don't know what you're giving up. I said, it's hard out there in the real world. You know, and the thing about it is, I like the part when God said that he was talking to Moses, he said, only the heart is in it. Ask for it all.
And that's the thing. And I thought about that. I did at Mac Chapel. I spent 4 years walking through Exodus. We walked through Exodus and Bible study. And it dawned on me last night when I was reading this. People that want to give is going to give.
Yeah.
Right. The Lord said, what you got to do is just teach them. Right. And I'll do the rest. The ones that want to give is going to give. The ones that don't is not. We ain't gonna be able to force them. We ain't gonna be able to make them. You just keep teaching. Look, it was funny. They plundered all of this, right? But the Lord made a statement. Those that want to give, right?
See?
Give.
You know, and Pastor, that's with us and stuff every day. Very excited. Give not grudgingly
or
necessity, you know. But you know, hey, and then you can just don't make God's word a cliche. Oh, God loves a cheerful giver, you know. These ain't just words you speak, you know. It's supposed to be examples to live by and stuff, you know. And if you so hell bent in your way of thinking that you gonna think you're gonna take something with you, you ain't taking nothing away from when you leave.
Right. And I blame sometimes I blame us pastors, but because we'll use that, give and we give it back to you, you know, shake the
Shake the
press
press
down.
down.
But watch this. But we stop right there, right? It also says, because the measure that you give, you will also receive, right?
Well, thing about stuff is, you know, I don't talk about your peers and stuff, you know, but I do, over the years, I have watched a number of them stuff, you know. And like, I don't know what I told you about when we was talking about the realignment. It was up there and Miss, what's the name of the church up in Maryland? St. James. And they were sitting down there talking about redistricting, you know. And I said that Jules McAllister, you know, there, he was the one the bishop had appointed, you know, in charge of, and I looked at it. And that was up in the little meeting, and everybody was kind of saying, and I told him, I said, excuse me, Dr. McAllister, Janelle knew about the Port St. Joe. When you start the realignment, take some special exceptions to New Bethel Port St. Joe. And he said, what's the problem, Brother Janelle? I say, we the only church in the Panama City, Pensacola district that's on Eastern time. Everybody else on Central. So in order to do all the stuff they do in the Pensacola and Fort Walton, we got to get up over 5:30 in the morning. At that time I told him, I said, look, I'm almost 65 years of age. I'm one of the youngest things in the church. And we just can't be putting no 80 and 90-year-old people on no van, you know, getting up at 4 and 5:30 in the morning and getting back home. You get through with the church service, and guess what? We got to come 138 miles back home. So we get back home 12, 1 o'clock at night, and it take these old people the next 3, 4, 5 days a week over just to recover. I say, but if you put us back in the Maryland district, that's 70-some miles right down the road. Everybody kind of looked at me and stuff, you know, one holler about, who is this? That's the first time I met Nick. Who is this? I said, well, it ain't about me. I said, but I got to speak up for all the old people, you know.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, not just, you know, just saying, a lot of people didn't realize folks and there was in the Eastern time.
They didn't. And I said, look, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We own somebody.
Mm-hmm. But it's good. That just goes to show. It's good when you have people in positions that listen.
Mm-hmm. And he said, he looked at me, he said, but Fennell, I get that serious consideration. You know, everybody started writing and making notes. And then, hey, it wasn't not too long after that, but they started again saying, everybody said, well, we're in the Maryland district again. Because at one time, St. Joe was in the Maryland district. You know, and I'm saying, well, at least that's right down the road, you know, we can get there, you know, and you know, that's one of the kind of drive, you know, you can, you know, less than an hour and a half, you know, good driving, you know, hey, you home, you know.
And they're talking about redistricting again.
Well, let me tell you something, Pastor. Miss Wilson taught me one thing, and I looked at it. Say, Raphael, it ain't about where your number is and stuff. It's based on your ability to pay. And if you somebody who pay, and they know you're gonna pay. See, in the old Panama City district, we were number 2 to Greater Bethel in Panama City, you know, just from the churches in there, you know? And basically, this church ain't gonna care nothing about no number. We could care less about what we rank at among other churches. You know, it's just that, hey, it was always, let's do what it is we got to do, you know, and do it the right way. And sometimes it got kind of, I'll tell you what, been a rough 20 years. It's been a rough 20 years, and New Bethel's still standing, you know, after all of the naysayers and all of the nonsense and stuff, you know, and everybody looked the same.
Right. And when you look at that and kind of get back to the children of Israel, look at all of but even going back before they even got to the Red Sea, the Lord, it was 2 routes they could have took.
Yeah.
They could have went another route that didn't even go by the Red Sea.
Mhm.
That was I think about a 3-day journey.
Yeah.
But it was dangerous for them because of all of the armies and all of that.
Mhm.
And the Lord knew they weren't equipped
Yep.
to do it. So he took them around the way of the Red Sea. But I also told somebody yesterday, the reason why the Lord took them that way is because after he closed the Red Sea behind them, I told you, you know why the Lord closed the Red Sea? Because some of us going to try to go back. So he took them that way to keep them from getting back to Egypt. But even with all of that, he still blessed them.
You know what? And the thing about it is, I look at black folks, I use that for something. And the thing about it is, that's one of the hardest things in the world for me was when you come back to my hometown. Everybody holler about, preacher, prophets, whatever, you never be welcome back in your hometown. I came back to St. Joe. I was 28 years of age. Had a master's degree in Afro-American history and stuff, and I started trying to share stuff with my hometown. And guess what my hometown wasn't here? Nothing. Hey, I could do anything I want to do in Panama City, and the people received it, I spent 20 years on and off living in Panama City and stuff, and personally, got along with the people 1,000% better than I did with the people that I grew up with. And so, it got to the point where, Lord said, well, keep on trying. You just keep trying, and you keep going. And some people received it, some people didn't and stuff. And then had the lady at the time was going, part-time in Hebrew. She used to come to church here when she was teaching school down here. And every year used to have the Black History celebration at the school. And she would go out there and get people to speak, to say some address, student body, And for 20 years, Pastor, I wasn't good enough. Then one year she over there had nobody say, no, honey. For 20 years, I wasn't good enough. So I know you don't want little old me to do nothing for you, And I told her, I say, I respectfully pass, But she kind of, I said, well, it is what it is. I don't want to be no hypocrite, I said, but if I wasn't good enough for 20 years, then hey, I don't feel like I need to do it for you now, Because I never considered myself the least person that you could have picked out of the pot, seeing as how during that time, not one black teacher in Port St. Joe had a master's degree. You understand? Not one. Now all these youngsters came behind me, took it, but not one. Not one had a master's degree, I said. And then I went out tried to talk to my god sister, so Simone, her dad, tried to get a job on him 3 times. I got turned down. So I went on Panama City. I said, well, I said, look, hey, I say, you can get the prick, sometimes you can't. God always intervenes for those who are willing to follow him, with pure heart. And people understand that it's a heart. If your heart ain't right, God ain't gonna mess with you. God helped the children of Israel and stuff, even when they disappoint them time and time again and stuff, But in keeping what God expected of them and stuff, God sat down there, and I thought of reading and doing this lesson. It was kind of odd. You think about when they talked about all of the items they took out with them and stuff, they talked about using the temple and stuff, In most cases, most people list gold, silver, bronze, but using it in the temple and stuff, it became gold, bronze, silver, except when it got to the tail end, But in most cases, everything that they put in there, even though, of the 3, gold is considered to be the most valuable, form. And the thing about gold, wasn't so much that because it was shining, it just that it rolled and, lose the luster,
It didn't lose its luster.
See?
And when the light hit it, so it was a lot, behind that Lord was using it for. And something else that I don't know if it's gonna come up in later lessons, but he's telling Moses to give them. he's telling Moses, this is how he wants it, right? And I want to go back to Moses for a second, all right? 40 days he's up there, right? The Lord is telling him all of this stuff. I don't know if Moses is writing all of this down, but the Lord equipped him for the task at hand. He had to give Moses a great memory to not only deal with the people, but remember what that says, the Lord.
Well, you know, and that's a good question. And you can't tell me Moses was writing something down.
You had to write it.
And writing notation somewhere.
You had to write somewhere.
You
was chiseling something.
He had to do something because and see, this is where a lot of the unknown when it comes to the word of God is just that, because God wanted to stay that way, you know. But then, rational think say, man, you just can't stay up on the mountain for 40 days receiving instructions, and hey, you or somebody was writing it down, because hey, look, how you gonna remember everything was said, And then plus,
you have attention.
Boy, look here. You got to.
When the Lord is speaking, we should always pay attention, because if we don't, we may miss something. You may miss something
important that may not be repeated again. Mm-hmm. See, and I used to always tell, especially to say, everybody look at 95% of our learners listen to what's being said. Mm-hmm. So if you're running your mouth while somebody's talking, you might miss the key important stuff that you need to hear, because it don't pass you by. You holler, what did he say? Right. Or you say, well, stop talking, you can understand what's being said. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what he said. Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And so when they sit down, you look at just the stuff in itself. Now, and it's amazing how when you look at the instruction that God gave Moses to build, the first temple, as opposed to all the stuff David saved and the Solomon put. This happened, you understand? A lot of similarities, a lot of the same stuff was used, And the thing about the colors, I laughed at the colors: blue, purple, scarlet. Colors hard to get. A lot of them you couldn't find. A lot of them, you mixing plants and animals together and stuff just to get that color. And then the thing about God gonna prepare you, Pastor, because in every chapter he always told you how to do it. How to mix colors and what it was expected and stuff, and how to get certain skins that, and I read that part. I said,
And something else that is amazing to me. The people that was doing this, people that was mixing the colors, the people that was doing the building, the people that was doing the digging and the sewing.
They all had it.
What was it? They were masters.
That's right. All of them.
But I tell people, how did they get that? Understand? They got that skill when they were in bondage. So just because you thinking somebody's pressing, keeping their foot on your neck, and you're learning that, keep learning that task and be the best at it, because eventually
we're useful. Useful. And the thing about this stuff is to persevere. Most people don't understand this stuff is very few things happen overnight. Right. And if you blessed enough to have something miraculous happen in your life overnight, that's great. But a lot of it, people tell you about a lot of years of trial and error just doing. And the thing about it is, there's enough time in Egypt they become proficient at what they were doing.
Hey, look at this. Look at our ancestors at sharecropping and all that, when they were picking up, when they were tilling the ground for the master, or even after that, not even when they were in slavery. But actually, I go to slavery when they was doing all the work. When they became free, the slave master didn't know how to do any of that, and we were able to sustain a life because we were sharecroppers. We knew how to grow the stuff. We still
they got over they got over the slavery. Sometimes people don't understand. It was they assume that that all the suffering was done by blacks, but You know, one of the biggest tricks of the slave was getting over on old master. You know, see, if you gotta get the field ready for planting and stuff, and you got 20 hoes, and all of them all of a sudden get broke, you know, you get no work done that day because they take all of the holes back to the blacksmith shop, you know, to be redone, you know. And so there's a lot of gamemanship would be in play and stuff, you know. But the point is, when it all go down and stuff, you know, is that it's not your right to force another group of people to do something that you're too sorry to do for yourself. See? And like I tell them, I used to have a lot of you know, white constituents that, you know, I used to work with them in school with. They always say, look, I don't care how you try to sugarcoat, you know, bottom line is and stuff. Your ancestors used my ancestors to get where they are today and stuff. I said, then y'all got so cheap, y'all wouldn't even get 40 acres and a mule and stuff because of agriculture and, you know, and the economy. And because we know how to do the job, we could have paid 40 acres. We could have got over and had anything we want. Yeah. I said, but you took that away from us and stuff. And then you turn around, you want to give us credit for all the stuff that we taught you how to do. You know, I say, they really used to get them. I say, Africa had a first and hierarchy society, you know, centuries, 400 centuries before y'all even came out of the caves in Europe. You know, y'all didn't even know sunlight was even out there because y'all living like little animals in caves. But when you came out, you know, somebody showed you a little something, taught you a little something. Now you good at stealing, but you couldn't invent and create nothing, but you could steal. You know, even today, you know, everything that you use, somebody black invented it. You know, same thing every time you curse out a stoplight, stop sign, black folks invented that because if black folks had necessity, they need to come up with something to make the job easier. You know,
Call ID,
everything.
First overhaul, you know.
Come on. Blood plasma. You keep the list on and on and on, you know. Little simple stuff, you know, straightening comb. Y'all ain't had no, come on. But now all of a sudden you want to holler about, you know, we gonna make America great. How you gonna make something great that you done made great to start with?
I saw some last night from there. Where I was sitting there just kind of struggle after I kind of was visualizing my sermon for the day, trying to get it. So I could memorize the flow of it. I clicked on something on Instagram, and it was a video of a lady holding she was holding a Trump sign, the 2024, you know, flag. So of course I said, well, okay, let me see what these brainwashed people are saying now, right? And she said she voted for him, but she never thought in a million years he was talking about her with her job, right? You know, and watch this. And this was in West Virginia, and they showed a rally in West Virginia where Republicans that voted for Trump was getting on that was partnering with Democrats. So when I looked at that, a light bulb went on and say, the Lord is showing us the error. He's revealing to some people that he gave them exactly what they wanted. And now he gave them the desires of their heart. Yeah. And now they're realizing that what they asked for ain't really what they wanted.
Well, they forgot no basics. Be careful.
What you ask for.
You do what you ask for. Be careful who it is you elect and appoint to be rulers over you. You know, because see, Trump ain't telling folks nothing that he ain't told them from Jump Street. I mean, he said it all the time. And I told somebody, me and Ness, a lot of times I spent a lot of time with my wife telling her certain things because, like I said, I made a decision, Pastor, that everything in my head wasn't going to die with me. That it needed to be shared. You know, I said, because I say, and I looked at Ness and said, baby, remember when I told you about the Jewish collaborators with the Nazis in World War II? She said, yeah, baby. I say, remember I told you how when it was all said and done, and to kill all them people, those 6 million Jews in the gas tank, to shoot them and burn them and stuff? I said, what did I tell you about the truck? You said, the last roundup was destruction with the collaborators. I said, damn, we can forget about y'all. We had plans all the time to come back and kill y'all. Huh? And see, sometimes, Pastor, people don't want to see it. You know, they don't want to see that. You know,
It's still the same.
It's what everything comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
See, God ain't through with us yet.
He's not.
And I look at black folks and black folks holler, you know, like, man, why we have to suffer so much? Why y'all said, well, first of all, you have to ask yourself the question, why do you continue to sin so much? You know, black people started out being very spiritual, you know, verse religious people, you know, who cater and honor God. Now all of a sudden, we got worse than worse because we want to be just like the people that we was hating and had done dogged us out. You know, I say, when you join enemies, that's why I consider the black Republicans. Y'all about the craziest set of people you know. Given, I play with you because I used to play all these little games in school all the time. Yes, I know originally Republicans was part of the blacks, you know, during Lincoln time. I said, well, guess what? And the Democrats were the part of the whole white trash, you know, when everything flipped after 1865, you know, Lincoln got shot, you know, all of a sudden, Civil War over with, got all these poor little old root farmers, dirt farmers ain't had nothing. Guess what? You know, y'all forgot the thing. Hey, it wasn't an accident that all of the black troops that served in the Civil War were sent to the frontier. So they had to get them out the South. Because the South couldn't stand the fact that they didn't want black troops in the South with guns. Because some of them were slaves or something. They thought they were going to shoot. They thought they were going to shoot the masters, you know. And then the Indians basically tried to do the same thing with the black soldiers that the Vietnamese tried to do with the black troops in Vietnam. Look, you just like me. Why you over here fighting against me?
That's why Muhammad Ali, people get on Muhammad Ali, but that's why he said it.
Ain't never did nothing to me. Hey, say, look, say, y'all my enemy. Y'all the one dogging me out.
And we're so quick to destroy the messenger. Always. But not listen to the message.
Well,
right?
Because
and the Lord tells us why I said, don't listen to, don't look at what he's doing as messenger. Listen to what he's saying.
Yep.
Because he knew some of the people that he was using to deliver the message.
Well,
what was it?
But then we serve a God who knew that, hey, look, if I got to use a crook
I'm gonna use
to get another crook,
I'm going.
Guess what? I'm gonna use it.
But guess what? I'm still gonna deal with.
But then I'm gonna deal with it.
Well, remember the Babylonians?
Yeah.
I told somebody at that event that we had yesterday, the CDC and event. They asked why is Trump like this? Why is the Lord allowing Trump to do what he's doing? And the first thing that came to my mind was, I'm going to use the Babylonians, right? Really, I'm paraphrasing, to get my people back in line.
That's right.
Right? But guess what? I'm still, after they get them back, I'm still not going to forget what the Babylonians did.
Well,
I'm still going to punish.
One thing about it, when you aggress against the poor and the needy, and you do all manner of evil and stuff, hey, it may serve a purpose temporarily, but permanently, I'm still going to hold you accountable. And see, sometimes we, as black people, Pastor, I look at us sometimes as been blessed in many ways, but then sometimes we take a blessing and turn it to a curse because we like to say, everybody understand, like I say, we get so complacent, you know, we start thinking, you know, just like the enemy, you know, oh, I got a 2-car garage, I got, you know. See, when black people had everything in common, look, you know, it wasn't no need, it wasn't no greed. Because everybody was willing to help each other. See, that's what made our foreparents so much stronger than us. Because for the simple fact, they all lived longer. They were diligent. They got up every day and did something. They went to work. They was active.
And they helped
No.
everybody out.
Look, I can remember coming to this church before the stained unions, before the paneling on the wall. I told you, look, push out. It had two hot belly heaters, one here and one in the back where Sister Linda is. That's the only thing that kept. That's the only thing that kept this place warm. You know, wasn't no annex. You could come in the back steps. That's what happened to the window that was right there.
Yeah.
It was next to the window. You come in through the back door to come into the choir stand and come into the church. One no, hey, God bless all of a sudden stuff, you know, remodel this and do all this and you did all this and then all of a sudden you get sorry. You don't even want to come to church. You know? And then I still look at people and I still remember the fact that we got super lazy. That thing from waist up got the that with COVID, waist up. Oh man, look here, I just sign on. I ain't even
Waist up.
Hey, waist up. That's all they gonna show. I throw a little shirt on, put a towel on and stuff, you know, and hey, look, I still have my pajamas on, my house shoes.
You still in bed.
And then everybody holler about you know, it's too easy to turn the camera off. You just got the audio going and stuff, you know. But we sometimes we got so complacent and stuff, and we just forgot about what made us stronger and what made us as a people more united. Because see, my staying home and you staying home, and then we get back together. Well, guess what? My whole thought process doesn't change. Yours doesn't change, and we can't. Hey, look here, man. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Look here. We serving God just as good. I said, then why the Bible say, you know, the brothers and the sisters all assemble themselves together? You know, he said nothing about stay home. Come on now. I say so sometimes we forget about, you know, we got it our way, but we forget about God's way and stuff, you know, and God gave all these instructions and he expected them to be carried out and stuff, you know, but you can't tell me when somebody holler about, man, we can sell all this rich dye. We can make some money. You know, why we gonna take all that? Hold up. That old slave driver that I worked for, he gave it this only way out the gate, so it's mine. You know, how many times you seen people argue about what they get insurance policies supposed to be burying people with and stuff, and they fuss and fight over, man, it's my money. Now your name is on the policy to do the right thing. This was never your money, you know? And so, you know, you sit down there and stuff, you know, contrary to proper beliefs and stuff, some people look at it and think, hey, well, they just did it. No, they didn't. God planned everything. When God put his hand into something and stuff, you know, just like a 3-day trip turned to 40 years. A 3-day trip. From where they left to where they was going, 3 days. You know?
You could act right for 3 days.
3 days. Average walking miles for the people at the time, they could do about 40 miles a day. So where they had to go was nowhere. But they chose to cut it. Oh man.
And I've been thinking about you asked a question earlier about why do we do some of the stuff we do. I'm starting to think it is because we're never satisfied with what we have. But the problem is, what we should be satisfied with is spiritual. We should be in a place that we always want more spiritual. We want to learn more of God, but we want more of the flesh.
We just opposite, Pastor. Hey, the lure of the world since 1970 on. More things change, more things can't. Boy, look here. 1965, Motown went wild.
Well, watch it. I'm gonna go all the way back to the Garden of Eden.
Oh yes.
God gave him everything, but the serpent convinced Eve that she didn't have enough.
Yeah. Too bad Adam didn't have a backbone.
Yeah.
You know,
and that goes to show too. And you made that comment with Sister Vanessa that you made a decision that the knowledge that you have is not going to go Now with you, right? All Moses, all Adam had to do is tell Eve why.
Yeah, why you can't eat that?
That's why the Lord called. He didn't call for Eve when he came. He called Adam because
why you hide? Why you know you naked? You know?
We can't keep the knowledge to ourselves. We have to share it.
The thing about it is, Pastor, I'll be honest with you. Black folks sometimes immolate in the pit, just like crabs in the barrel. We don't want to see, everybody should look at me sometime, and that's why a lot of people, even in St. Joe, don't deal with me and Vanessa. You know, most people want to say arrogance, you think you better. No. Right. My grandmother raised me say, you don't have to think you better than nobody. She says, all right to be in the middle. Mm-hmm. Say, you don't have necessarily got to be on the bottom, but you don't have to be on the top. But see, in the middle, you got somewhere to go. Right. You understand? And see, most people look at it and stuff is that there's nothing wrong in wanting the best. Right. Not only for yourself, but for your family. For your family. You know? One time somebody got so bad, they accused my wife of, she just trying to raise her daughters like they're white. No, we raising our daughters the right way to get something. I specifically told my daughters through trials and error and tribulation, catching all kind of hate in hell, that daughter number one, daughter number two, I want y'all to listen to me. I want y'all to keep this locked in. What's that, Daddy? A pleasing personality and a smile, like my grandma told me, will open more doors for you than anything in your head. Daddy, what you mean? Treat everybody like you want to be treated. Hey, ain't no hatred in my heart against nobody. What I'm gonna tell you straight up. I don't need no sounding board. I don't need no Miller person. You ain't gotta get no roundabout lie. You can get it straight from the horse's mouth. No problem, Chris. We good, but we ain't gonna be great. You understand? Don't mean I, got out against you. It's just that we ain't gonna never be each other cup of tea, and you accept that. You accept that, and you go on because now, hey, well, I appreciate you. At least I know how you feel. I ain't gotta guess about you. You don't. And anybody who puts something right out in front of you, if I tell you, like Trump done told black folks, I don't care nothing about you. I think you're ignorant. I think you're stupid. I think you're less than. Guess what? Only thing y'all let's see is what the average person with some sense off of. When I looked at Trump, the first thing I saw was granddaddy was KKK, mom and daddy was KKK. It's stand the reason you was KKK. Train the child. That's right. And the way he ain't gonna pop. So guess what? Now, everybody know KKK hate blacks, Jews, Indians, and anything that wasn't white. See, everybody see Trump. I don't care because Trump was on the Shark Tank with the man from, who owned the Dallas Mavericks and all of them. They're all the same people. All the same people. A bunch of crooks who done beat somebody across the head, just like Scott when he was governor, got all that money, subsidizing and beating all them senior citizens in the nursing homes. I say, you look at crooks. Americans, European Americans, love crooks. They saved Dick Nixon when he was out there with B.B. Ragosa out in Miami Biscayne Bay on the boat smoking Cuban cigars. They saved him. Brother Frank Willis lost his job in Watergate because he did his job and he caught him breaking in Democratic National Headquarters. Only somebody that lost his job and got ostracized. Nobody came to this man's aid. Man lost his job, him and his family suffered, the whole 9 yards. You forget about who it is and what you are, And when you go through, Pastor, when you go through that and stuff, God may save you, but guess what? It's some things you're going to have to do to get back in his grace. And once you lose God's grace and mercy, I don't care who you are. And right about now, black folks, my people, your people, so diverse, can't never come together because I don't agree with them. So I'm never going to support them. You sitting here, you get with him on a basis, a ministerial basis, but nobody in Port St. Joe gonna ever deal with Elder Davis. Nobody. Because, and I've told him on several occasions, he asked me, he said, Reverend, that why you won't support me? And I said, any point that I won't support you, Elder Davis. I said, because I grew up your mama's house that you grew up in right behind my grandma's house. I saw you every day when I was growing up. We're in the same age group, I said, but I'm not going to connect myself and send myself to you and stuff when vis-a-vis the powers that be, and I already said, as long as you and a couple other people are equating whatever program y'all trying to get, that they able to support. Now, let's be realistic about St. Joe. Who got the money? So now, if the other side say they ain't gonna throw a crumb of bread, and all these folks is members of First Baptist Church, Port St. Joe, First United Methodist Church, Port St. Joe, Church of God in Christ, Port St. Joe. Guess what? Everybody looked at Chambers and thought Chambers was crazy because he joined the white ministerial alliance. He used to go over there, used to fellowship with him and stuff, and when he needed something, he could get it. You understand? And everybody said, man, why are you doing that? He said, because I came here and I tried it with y'all in the first 2 years. I see y'all wasn't doing nothing, so why am I wasting my time? I'm going, everybody got mad at James because James was the first ministers and stuff with all these churches connected by you selling drugs within, 50 feet of churches. No matter where you're on the north side, Pastor, if you sell drugs, period, you within that perimeter, of churches, And so we got this problem. Oh, well, that's so and so on. Daughter, raise my kids like my daddy raised me. If you go to jail for killing somebody, for messing with your brother and your sister and your cousin, I'll take everything I got to come try to get you out. But if you go to jail for stealing and drugs, don't call me. I'm not coming. Not 1 second, not 1 hour, and I'm not going to waste no money to bail you out when you can carry your butt and get a job. Now, raising sons that way, raising your daughters that way, Now, if you raising your children different, that's on you. Don't care what you do. You understand? Because that's your burden to bear. But if you bring that to 265 Avenue C, I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna deal with you quick, hot, and in a hurry. If you cause me a manhunt, will I give you up in a heartbeat? I'm not gonna lose what I have, because number one, your word is your bond. If your word ain't no good, you ain't no good. So guess what? If your word, if you ain't gotta be a button, but when you open your mouth, at least somebody willing to listen to what you're saying. But everybody know in front of you, oh well, man, And I grew up in a town where even when I was in school, Pastor, everybody had their likes and dislikes, and they all sat down and they all played their games and stuff, I came to this church, and the lady used to play in the choir, the musician. Mm-hmm. She told me, she said, Frank, I want you to come to choir practice. My older brother, my sister was already in the choir stand, okay? I already remember the choir. Both of them high yellow. Most people in the choir was high yellow. There's a few dark skin, darker than me, and this church had a caste system. And I didn't believe in caste system, because I said, look, I don't see none of that. I said, my mama, my oldest brother, my sister, all light skinned. My daddy, me and my younger brother, we all pecan tan. But I don't, and so they got up there, hey, what is the Cole brother? What is the black behind doing up here? The dreadback say, Frank up here because I told him to come. She's because I know if I tell Frank on a Friday night that we got an engagement at Thompson Temple, Holiness Church, to be there at 7 o'clock. The basketball game starting at 7 o'clock at the gym. Ain't none of y'all, including my son, gonna be here. But at 10 minutes to 7, when I pull up in my little car and get out, Frank will be right there to take the books if I'm carrying him books with me out of my hand to take me to the church. So now, all y'all who don't want to sing with Frank, right now, all y'all can get up and get out. You know what I'm saying? And me and Frank will stay here by ourselves. And they all looked at me and hollered. You know, but that's just the kind of lady she was. She was straight up, stern. Hey, look, she didn't play the red even with her son. Her son now riding around the sanctuary every day and stuff. He's Jehovah's Witness. You know? Jehovah's Witness, but guess what? That didn't change his mama. His mama was the same. And Pastor, I don't try to appease nobody and stuff. You know, I look at it and stuff. Just like here in God's temple, God wanted the best. God put the best inside of what he wanted. I tell somebody, you know, I say, I'm sorry. I don't wear them any kind of clothes. And that's for a reason. I don't think nothing that I can put on my body is better than me. Look, I do know that cheap shoes mess up the feet. I don't put, hey, look, me and these feet been together a long time, and guess what? I try to put some decent shoes on, you know, clothes. First of all, you got to feel comfortable. I can't, you know how to strap the shirt around the neck and stuff the material itch. No. First, off the bat, got to be comfortable. I got to rub it against this old skin. That feel pretty good right there, you know? And if it feel good, and if it just happen to look good, that's your benefit. But see, that ain't what I bought it for. I bought something that feel good and gonna keep me warm when I want to be warm and comfortable, you know? That's the criteria. Everybody, oh man, that's your nice shirt. How much you pay for it? Man, I really don't care how much this shirt costs or where I got it from, you know? I learned a long time ago. Go buy 10 cheap shirts, wash them one time, they fade and they done. Buy a quality shirt, you can wash that shirt 20 times, and if you wash it right, it will look the same way. And that's what God did. God told us tonight, you put these things in here like I want it, you know? Hey, if you put the curtain up with the gold hooks, you know, for the Holy of Holies, you know, it ain't gonna look like what you done put up with the brass and the silver in the inner gate, you know. Hey, also, hit me too, people holler about priest's job. Let people, nobody accidentally walk into the Holy of Holies. That's death sentence, which means now I know why they had a temple God. Hey, you got to keep certain people out where they ain't got no business be. So, you know, God had a system, and he put a system in place. If black folks had utilized the system that was in place for them, we forgot about who first. Told my daughters, told my son, I don't care which way you go, what you do. Who first in your life? It ain't me and your mama. Who first? God, me and your mama. I don't care if you put your mama ahead of me, but God got to be first. Who make everything possible for you? God. What you gonna teach your children? Who first in your life? God. Who make the way? God. See, we forgot about who it was as black people make the way. Biggest conversation I had used to argue all the time with people. You consider Jesse Jackson to be a preacher? No, I don't. You know? They said, but I said, that's his title. I said, but he never had no church. You know? He attended church, but he never had a church. I said, well, that don't detract from who the man is, you know? I see Jesse Jackson as a civil rights activist. more than I see him as being a preacher. You understand? Now, do I say the same thing about Reverend Rap Abernathy? You know? Julian Bond? You understand? All of them was there. See? And the thing about it, my problem, Pastor, is that at one time or another in my life in the early 70s, by being in Florida State, I got to hear all of it. Heard Julian Bond's speech 2 or 3 times. Eric Cleaver, Stokely Carmichael, Nikki Giovanni, Sonia Sanchez, you know, I mean, hey, all of them, you know, because he used to get them to come and speak, you know. And so you sit there and listen to all these folks, and you know, you sit there. Back in 1967, I wrote a paper when I was at Gulf Coast off the March on Washington, 1963. Never knew, nobody never told me, you know. You don't never get nobody your original.
Right.
White lady, fell in love with stuff, but guess what? Never got it back. You understand? I even wrote a paper on Resurrection City about how they tore up all the cardboard little huts they had put together out there around the little fountain, you know, around the monument. And the lady, hey, they took my little paper, took it out and stuff. See, sometimes when you follow the plan like I said, and my brothers tell me all the time and stuff too, said, you know, you want to be one of them old leader type. You won't get killed. I said, I ain't going nowhere, you know? But it made me think, you know, what it was he thought there. You want them old revolutionary, you know, I said, well, ain't nothing wrong with doing something to help your own kind, you know? But it's how you do it and what you do. How you do it, you know? And sometimes we look, you know, Pastor, you know, and like I said, I enjoyed this stuff because I read, you know, all the linen, all the stuff, you know, and all the stuff about the anointment cover, all about, say that we like a box, you know, how you know, everybody don't understand. Originally, only thing in Ark of the Covenant, you know, was the tablets. Then other stuff was added through the years and stuff. Say, but remember one thing, Jesus was never, and God was never in the box. Was never in the box, you know. And sometimes we got to remember, what is it are you looking for? You know, are you looking for honor and glory? God's house should have been the best house that was built. You know, should have been better than any palace that David and all the rest of them and Solomon had, you know. But guess what? That wasn't what God was looking for. And the thing you build a temple and stuff, and you only get to the end and stuff where you actually change it. Say, the base of the metal used was brass, and lesser material than the silver base within the tabernacle. The lesser value the metal corresponded with this doorway stand from the most holy of places. God didn't care nothing about you had it all shining outside, but when you got into the holy of holies, hey, nothing take away from the glory of God. So which means you put all your little shiny stuff outside, but inside, the only thing that's glowing and shining is God. And I thought it was nice too, because I sat down there and the veil that was ripped from top to bottom, how they put it with the little, instead of 4 posts like they had in the inner gate, 5. And then they used the gold hooks, and the whole curtain was one solid piece. Now, don't you know that was tough? You ever see that little that they put there?
It's hard.
That was Miss Dredgeback and all of them old ladies. They sold and made that thing, and I can't tell you how old those covers are. But they made that stuff just for the cover, you know. And see that's what you got to care, you got to concern, you know, for what it is somebody do. You appreciate what somebody doing stuff, you know, because I tried to take them things 3 or 4 times. Somebody find the cleaners, people clean say, too many pies, you know.
Oh,
but see, then I looked at them and stuff, you know, and every time somebody would waste grape juice and stuff, you know, and all that on them and stuff, and they sat down there. And then for years, the only spot I would take him home and wash him. Me and Sister Vanessa. And then it took, getting the iron out. We did all that too, until they came with more old speed things, And see, people don't understand that, they always looked at the Sunday, but they never saw, well, who watched this? Who had this cleaner, Said that one time, sit down and say, these communion instruments and all this little stuff here, and sit down and say, well, we'd have, and I told Chamber we'd have a special Sunday. We take us some money to get us some new communion instruments, and stuff for, the table, right? Everybody, look, y'all good or not? But we don't do it. What you gonna do with that? Too easy. Next went down and bought a case of chicken.
Mhm.
So chicken sandwiches and French fries on Fridays till we got enough to do it. And then got down there. Chambers had things to get out, and they said, Pastor, here's Sister Vanessa. We can't use them things this Sunday. Why not, Sister Vanessa? They got to be dedicated. Chambers looked at it, thought about the thing, and then he went back and picked up that disc and he read and stuff, and he said, but yeah, your Sister Vanessa, we're going to dedicate the, thank you, Pastor. And it was like, not trying to detract from you, Pastor, but my husband said, before you can use it, inside God's house, it kind of, the right way, and that's the kind of stuff, I told Ness, I said, before you open your mouth to address people, saying what I say, take this thing and read it for yourself. I don't highlight it and wrote it all in the margin, but read it for yourself so you know. I said, because you're not doing it for me, you're doing it for you and stuff, And, we have to remember sometimes and stuff, it's nothing wrong with having something good, but if it ain't functional, he'd find out some things I learned about the tabernacle. 12 loaves of bread put out every day that the priest ate, represent the 12 tribes. See, you can read this stuff, but when you read it for yourself, somebody talk about it, because I'll be honest with you, I ain't never heard about a highlight about 12 loaves of bread was put on the table. The tabernacle faced east, but the table, and all other stuff, some was facing south, See, and I guess you was a priest or a minister back then, you had to know what you were doing. But you put it in the wrong place, nobody couldn't deal with it and stuff, And I really got, like I said, the doorway about all this stuff, the only thing, the doorway, how they did it and stuff, and that Acacia wood.
Top of the line.
Top of the line, expensive wood, dense, coarse, could make furniture out of it, could build, make beams out of it. It was and they had to import, all this stuff had to be imported. It didn't grow there, it had to be imported, but it was doable and stuff, and I thought about how, little stuff about, the oil. Oils for anointing and oil for burning, and then you take for granted and stuff, and I say, I miss that. No wonders in the temple. No wonders. I mean, everything is closed out, that the incense and even the incense had to be out of certain things. What you burnt had to be made out of certain material and stuff, So the aroma and the smell would just permeate, I said that the last out of 3.5, 4 years in this to the church, and everybody comes, man, sure smell good. Then they stopped doing it. Sister Lewis hollered about, I don't think we need to do that. I said, that's why you ain't got no smell in church. That's because you forgot about what me and Vanessa did and everybody else for years. What's that? Mix some fabuloso with some water, like you back in place, spray it back. So when you back with the smell that you had coming up, it's the fabuloso, something else, Pastor. That's all. That's all we talk. The reason I did what I did, I was trying to find that magic elixir that could help black folks. When I found You know, the problem is couldn't use it. Because black folks, they wouldn't help each other. We the only group of people in the world. You know, we didn't get here like everybody else did, but once we got here, we got worse than the people. So we got here because we forgot about what was important and stuff. See, and I grew up in this community where, and watching people, man, one family would cook the rice, another family would cook the beans, you know, another family would buy the chicken, you know, another family would make the cornbread. Guess what? But everybody got full because if you cook a big pot of rice, everybody came over with their pot and they got their rice from what you had cooked. You cooked enough beans or peas that everybody brought their pot over and they put the beans in and took it back home. You know, cornbread, everybody brought their pan over. So once the cornbread was cut, everybody had enough cornbread. So guess what? Everybody ate, you know, wasn't nobody. I had preachers tell me about, man, you that's different. God must have blessed you. I said, no, God gave us all an equal, you know, measure of faith. I said, now how you use yours and what you do with it, you know, that's predicated on you. I said, well, I say same environment, economic environment, same social environment. Hey, grew up in the same time, went to the same school, the same churches. Your dad worked at the paper mill like my dad worked at the paper mill and stuff. I said, we had the same attributes, the same benefits. I said, what the difference was? I wanted something and you didn't.
Where was that paper mill at?
Across the street.
Across the street.
All the makers.
All the
Makers from right there what the back of Piggly.
Yeah,
all the way past the bridge to the water. About 40 acres out there. It don't look like it, it was deep. It was deep. That little road where they got the little doing the ships. That's where when I was down there 13 years old going down to Stevedore. Had ocean going vessels that came from Denmark, Germany, this and way to pick up that paper to take it back. And rocks and take the rocks and back, you know. Ships came from India, Great Britain, everywhere. You know, paper mill right there. And for 60 years, this is why this wasn't supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be no North for St. Joe. All the black folks lived in White City across the bridge. And why they left. The black folks left. That was black folks. You had to pay to come on the ferry. They come into St. Joe. It's still 3 or 4 black people out there on land out there. Man died, his family on the land and stuff, but all the black folks lived there. And somebody got the accident, St. Joe Paper Company, because they owned the railroad and the paper mill. So they started building a few houses for the workers. And this is how, because they didn't want to live here and stuff, because on any given day when the wind was wrong, all the smell from the paper came straight this way. So when you put your clothes, one no washers and dry.
When you put
your clothes out, you see a hat smell in them and stuff, you know, because there was that lime kill. That white smoke was pure lime. That's what rusted people's cars out in less than 2 years, because the lime, pure lime was coming out. And Grand Forks St. Joe paper company closed, they was getting fined so many $100,000 a day for the pollution that they was, you know, they was kicking out and stuff, because you can't, they did everything from a bleach plant where they used to dye the paper, you know, to make it white, you know, so a lot of stuff went in the bay too, that they, you know, they claimed they refined it, but you don't never get it all. So, you know, and so when the paper mill closed, this was a big push when everybody started trying to come in, trying to buy land over here. Because after all the hurricanes, you know, look, God is a mercy and grace. Bro Peters, I looked at him and said, "Was you crazy?" He in the hurricane, the water came up to 5 feet. 5 feet to the church. Whole area from the cave. That wall down the pavement is 25, 30 feet. And out there in that bay down, where that wall, the last hurricane, that wave hit us hard, the wall cracked. But that wall and that paper mill kept us from a lot of stuff. And then people used to ask me, say, how them old houses survive? I said, you don't know, them old houses made out of a lot of wood. Had nails in there that long. They tried to push over the boxes that we had right there. Had a big front end payload, tried to push it. Wouldn't go nowhere. They tried, they so old, cause it's 70 years old, ain't nothing, just push it. They tried to push one side. So the man said, but do a little corner, let the corner cave in, corner at a time, but just couldn't push the whole thing over.
Because isn't it that a lot of times when it's flooded in this area, downtown Reed Avenue,
They flood every time.
Flood every time, but this area don't because of what they did with the paper mill.
The paper mill with the wall, the water came across. The water came across. And the water came all the way across the road. But when that water came, pushed by the water that came up out of the bay.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a shear thing, instead of the water coming, where the water behind it was like, instead of going, it was sliding, and it slid it right on back on 98 down, because this is the high lane. So it slid it all down, and then that water came out of the bay where they dumped the boats over there.
Mm-hmm.
By where that changed it to, that used to be a bank, where they made it to a little hotel now, Hotel St. Joe, where that water came out the bay, and right where the Chapel Man, like if you going down past, 98, where Chapel House used to be when he was senator, where they got cut out a little lake between all them houses on Monument and Constitution. So right there where the Long Avenue Baptist Church is and stuff, all that thing, when the tide come in, that thing be this close to the cresting over the top. So when that water came in a hurricane, it flooded all the downtown, all the businesses on Reed had water in them. City Hall was full of water. Sheriff's office was full of water. Because that thing went all the way down, that water went all the way down to the courthouse, past the post office. Okay? And this is why they don't like us. I holler about us. Well, y'all didn't handle damage. I said, the devil is a lie, and you are too. I said, every house on the north side had some kind of roof damage. Every one.
We might get flooded.
We didn't get flooded, but we had roof damage. And hey, look, we standing. I said, y'all handle y'all houses no way. Everybody was all on the tide at o'clock, but that's good stuff, guys. It just, people just don't understand sometimes, what you go through and how you go through it, If it's worth it, live with it. Yeah. So I guess we do our usual. Put our usual money, 10, but 3 of 10, 10, so that's $30.
Yeah.
And the rest of them, whatever they pay, they'll pay it if they come. That's like I got this boy, I just started saying, well, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's one of the things we, from the leadership standpoint, as a pastor, we teach, we give everybody the information of what thus says the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And let the Lord deal with it from there.
You got great reporting. I was headed at this envelope. And people don't understand this stuff is it's not that I'm trying to change you. I'm not trying to let you change me.
All right, how are you?
What's up, man?
Right.
But it's just a simple thing that, for the good of the whole sometimes, everybody gotta get.
Okay. Okay.
Look here, when you talk to your brother, this is what I came up with, Mona wanted to do the program. This is what I came up with.